All right, guys. Ladies and gents, we are back in action. I do apologize. I had no idea that the audio was choppy. I had no idea. You guys should have texted me. Why nobody text me and said, "Hey, look, we can't hear anything you're saying." Anywho, let's get right to it. We're just gonna go over some things that are pertinent to the industry, very important to the bookkeeper, as well as the trucker, as well as the trucking company, as well as the owner operator, as well as the driver. Everybody plays a part, and we actually keep the glue together, right? Do we not? We keep things together. So let's start. As I said before, through Facebook, and like I said, I have no idea what happened with the audio, but I'm working on that, guys. I'm so sorry. Um, as I said, we will not begin until you have your glasses of wine. I'm still sticking by that. I don't care what time it is. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Get your glasses of wine and relax. And let me bring to your living room or wherever you may be sitting right now. Maybe you're still in the office. Let me bring to you how to record these factoring invoices. Let me bring that to your front door. Just call me the mailman. Call me the mail lady. Call me the mail lady. So here we are. Let's get started with, we're going to tap into QuickBooks as well. Um, you guys know me by now. If you don't, I am Reba Howard. I am a nobody, right? Trying to tell everybody about how to book the factoring loans, how to actually account for those. And we're just gonna start from the beginning. We're just gonna take it all the way back from the origination. Okay. But if you guys are coming on and you're looking at this recording, I'm not gonna start until you are pouring you a glass of wine. Relax, listen to my soothing voice, and relax. So it all starts with booking a load, right? So either you hired a dispatcher to book your loads, or the trucking company itself books the loads, whether they're booking from a load board or wherever they got a contract. I don't care. We don't really care for this scenario, for these purposes. We're just saying that everything starts with booking a load. That's where the work comes in at. That's the services that's being rendered, is that you're picking up and you're dropping off, right? So whenever you book that load, whenever the dispatcher books that load, the rate confirmation, which I'll show you here in a second, the rate confirm, when I say rate confirmation, or if I use the word rate confirm, that means the actual receipt or negotiation or contract for the rate, for the pay, for the amount of the load, for the charge. Okay. And that's typically received from the broker. All right. So at that moment, you locked in a rate, the load is picked up, the load is delivered, and at delivery, when the driver is delivering the load, at the delivery, he picks up a signed BOL, and BOL stands for bill of lading. He picks up a signed bill of lading, electronically or in paper form. Okay. And so those are the documents that needs to be retained. Get on your driver, tell them, make sure they are reinforced with, we need the signatures. Don't leave without the signatures. And then when you receive the signatures, you need to either, I don't know what your process is, but take a picture of it, email it. Just make sure you have all the necessary documents, and the documents that are necessary needs to be signed. All right. The only way that you're going to be funded with, if you so choose to use a factoring company, the only way you're going to be funded is if those signatures are there. Okay. That is the proper way. So that's why we're stressing that. Now let's move to the very next page. And the very next tab is the actual rate confirmation. So let's just pretend all of this is scenario. This is nothing. This is all made up, right? So this what happens is um, when the driver is performing services, we're just gonna take the first line, the 1275. But anywho, so they're in any given week. This particular week one, he made 5 loads, right? He dropped and delivered, dropped and delivered, dropped and delivered, and at the end of the week, he made about right near $6,500 a week. So that's a pretty decent week, right, for one driver. And anywho, but we're gonna walk through this thing, and we're gonna take our. Do y'all have your glasses of wine? Did you get your glasses of wine? I'm not playing. I'm serious. Relax, relax. So this we're gonna take one rate confirm at a time, and we're just gonna walk through from the very beginning, and we're gonna just walk through the very end. We're gonna break this up in 3 parts, 1, 2, 3, and we're gonna break it up in 3 weeks, 1, 2, 3 weeks, and we're gonna make sure at the very end and throughout that you understand every single thing that's coming out of the words of my mouth. And we're going to make sure that we are servicing our clients as bookkeepers and giving them solid bookkeeping services, and none that they have to question. Okay, so we're going to take it one step at a time. We just look at that first line, which is flash transportation. All right, that's the debtor. In the end, and all this stuff will make sense. But this is the person that you're working for. The trucking company surrendered the service. He picked up, he dropped off, he got a bill of lading, and he did that all for Flash Transportation LLP, and he did it for $1,275. Excellent. I mean, that's pretty decent money, right? I mean, a week and 1 load, you know? And so, of course, there's other factors in this, you know, well, how far did he drive, and how much was the fuel mileage, and how many hills did he have to climb, how many valleys he had to go down, you know, all of that factors in, of course, into what you actually profited. But as far as the rate that was locked, before we even look at any type of expenses, we're not looking at fuel, we're not looking at insurance right now, we're just looking at the money. And so the money says $1,275. We're going to follow that all the way through. And so for those of you, we have a variety of audience. Thank you guys who are just now joining. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. You have no idea. And I hope that this community that we're building is a service to you and your clients. So for those of you who are old heads, been around the game, been around the block, you guys have already seen a rate confirmation before, right? So I'm talking to the people who actually have not. So this is pretty much what a rate confirmation looked like, a rate confirm. And so I blotted out some stuff for privacy, but this is generally what it looks like. And it may come in pages, I mean, from 2 to 5 pages, maybe even to 10 pages. And so it's going to be a breakdown of the company name. Here, basically, you're looking at the load confirmation number. You're looking at picked up dates. When did you drop off? But mainly, as a bookkeeper, you're looking at this number right here, the total carrier pay. And in this case, again, as I said before, you're looking at $1,275, and that's the rate confirmation that you're getting from here. We're not going to go over. So this is an example. This is an example, and this is what he did or she did for the entire week. But again, we're only going to look at just this one item here. Okay. So, and this is what your rate confirm looks like. And this rate confirmation actually comes from the broker, right? So remember in the beginning, we were trying to figure out, well, dang, where's the load even coming from? Where are you getting, how do you even know what to put into your accounting software? How do you, even if you're not using accounting software, how do you even know where to put it into your Excel spreadsheet? Shout out to the people who do it raw. Give me a spreadsheet and I can work out anything. Right. And so QuickBooks has made it very easy for us, but it's good to know the basis, and we could always go back to the basis when you pull up, you know, that 10 key machine, give me a spreadsheet, a piece of paper, and we'll work this thing out. So we'll find out what's going on in the background, what QuickBooks is doing in the background. But anywho, it starts with this load. The load is booked. We got a rate confirmation that came from the broker. Well, what does a rate confirmation look like? Boom, here it is. This is what it looks like. What you're looking for as the bookkeeper is the rate, the actual pay. All right. And of course, we're going to look at the dates. The dates is a big thing too. So once you have a rate confirmation. So that means the guys have been working, the girls have been working, guys and gals, they've been working their butt off. They're not waiting 30 days. They're not waiting 30 days. That's too long to wait. And so what they did was they signed up with a factoring company. And shout out to RTS, RH kind of. I mean, we work very closely with RTS. In fact, we're partners. If you guys are interested in any type of factoring services or for your cars or what have you, just reach out to us. We'll take care of you and make sure you're servicing your clients to the best of your ability. Everything we have, you have access to. So this is the example rate confirmation. So you've got this information in, you have your bill of lading in, you have your rate confirmation in, and you have your invoice in. And guess what? They're like, pay me, because we're not waiting to 30 days. And so because of that, they contracted with a factoring company. And you're getting ready to submit this rate confirmation to the factoring company. And again, we're still in week 1, and we're just going to handle this thing one by one. And we're going to take our times, right? So we're just going to look at the very first day of week 1, and that was 1275. So we're looking to actually submit, because we're not waiting 30 days. And because we've contracted with a factoring company said, we'll pay you same day, depending on what time you submit your documents in. We'll depending on if your bill of lading right here, if your BOL is signed, if you included your rate confirm and whatever your particular factoring company requires, if you have submitted all this documentation, this by a certain time of day, you can be funded same day or next day. Okay, it was whatever your contract says. So these guys have been working hard. They put in a service, and it's your turn. It's your turn. It's the bookkeeper turn. This is why they hired you. And so they hired you to do the bookkeeping. So you're getting ready to actually submit it to the factoring company. And that's the easy part, right? Because you're just making sure the documents are signed. And I'm telling you, this part, I say it's the easy part. It's the administrative part is what I mean. It's the administrative part and making sure everything is the I's are crossed, I's are dotted and T's are crossed. But what you're doing as a hired bookkeeper, you're making sure that those relationships that are established are actually recorded in the books. Now, here's the affair, because it's some crazy stuff going on right now, right? So we have the main character, and the main character is the trucking company, but the trucking company is cheating with the factoring company on the broker. And then the trucking company is turning around with the broker, cheating with the broker with the factoring company. So I'm just joking, guys. What I'm trying to say is there's a relationship. There's 2 relationships going on, and they're not related. And so when you get to record these relationships, when you put these relationships that the trucking company, this character is basically having an affair, and you have to record this affair in the actual books in your accounting system. And again, we use QuickBooks. And so if you guys need anything with the QuickBooks, just reach out to us and let us know. But we use QuickBooks, and so how we keep up with our clients and how we service them has all to do with how we make these recordings. And we need to make sure these recordings are accurate and correct. So when you get ready to make this relationship and put it into QuickBooks, you got to make sure that you're doing this the right way. And these, like I said, it's an affair, but it's 2 separate transactions, just a couple more steps. All right. So anywho, let's move forward. We're going to create an invoice. Now, even though there's a relationship going on, even though there's multiple steps going on, at the end of it all, the first step you're going to do always is create an invoice. You're going to create an invoice just for the simple fact that you provided a service. You provided a service to get paid, because we don't work for free. So you provided a service to get paid. In order for you to collect on your payment, you have to create an invoice. When you create an invoice, you increase in your AR, your accounts receivable. Your accounts receivable is located on your balance sheet. Your balance sheet, you want it to look good, pretty, and nice, because when you go to the bank and the bank looks at your balance sheet, and they can see, man, they're doing pretty good. And so maybe we can afford to invest in them. Maybe we can afford to give them money and give them loans. And so that's what your balance sheet does. And so when you create that invoice, you're increasing your receivables, your AR. And then essentially what you're doing is you're debiting your AR, you're increasing your balance sheet and crediting your sales, which is on your income statement. And so it looks good there too, because that means that you are in operation. You are not considered a discontinued operation. You are very much so alive, and you're bringing in that income. And so this is the background of what's happening when you create the invoice. You're increasing your receivables. And what your receivables are saying is that I am expecting to receive. I'm expecting to receive. And because I'm expecting to receive, I have to book the receivable. In order for me to book the receivable, I have to create the invoice. That's going to go without saying. It doesn't matter that there's a couple of relationships going on. It doesn't matter if these relationships are going on. The very first step that does have to happen is you create this invoice. Now, let's go over to QuickBooks over here. And let's see, for those newcomers and people who are established in a career, a bookkeeping career, I'm speaking to you. Okay. Let's walk through this thing, because I promised that we were going to do this thing and we're going to do it together. Right. And so let's just go from the beginning, right? So whenever you enter to this is a sample company I created in QuickBooks, and guess what? It's called Can Do Attitude. I love it, because we have a can-do attitude, and that's the approach that we take with our customers, right? With our clients, we have a can-do attitude. There's nothing that we cannot do. Through Jesus Christ, that strengthens dog. I went back to that Easter speech on Sunday we used to do. Okay, so anywho, the can-do attitude transportation. So whenever you're getting ready to create an invoice and you see there's no invoice because we're going to create this thing together, there will be a dollar amount right here. All right. So because it's zero, that means you ain't done no work. Get out there and do some work, make some invoices. And we're going to create this invoice because, as you can see, we have a rate confirm, and that rate confirm is $12.75, and we have to record that invoice because the services were rendered and it was factored. And we already submitted to the factoring company. That relationship is done. Well, it's not done. It's still an affair. It's still going on. Okay. But still. So we come over here. We create the invoice. Let's create the invoice. All right. So we go over to sales, invoices. And remember, there's like 100 ways to skin a cat, you know. So we're going to put in, what's the name of the company? Flash Transportation. Y'all remember Flash? You remember Flash back in the day? Do y'all remember that? I do. Okay. Anywho, so what happened here? What happened? We were trying to create a company. And the name of that company that owe us money because we performed a service is Transportation LLP. And so I want to know another okay. So yeah, an example before, because we went live before, right? And when we went live before, we had already recorded this, and I didn't go back and delete it at all. So let's see what happens. Let's do another one. How about that? Let's say Flash Transportation LP2, and let's see what happens now. Okay, that works. All right. So for the sake of time and time management and making sure we're understanding everything, we're creating an invoice again, and we're going to do net 30, right? Because that's a good point, right? So why are we doing net 30? Why are we doing net 30 if we're getting paid same day or next day? We're a factoring company. You know why? Because we're not invoicing the factoring company. We're not invoicing the factoring company. We're booking the invoice for the people that owe us. We actually, at this point, owe the factoring company. Yeah, let that sink in. Okay, so we're providing a service, and you know, you can put whatever you want, whatever, we don't want to put design, but you could put, you know, truck unit 556431 or whatever you want to do, or you could put truck payment, or I mean truck income or something like that. It doesn't matter. Whatever you put there, just for the sake of example, I'm going to put service, and the name of the description, whatever, however your accounting system is set up, transportation. Okay, I got it. Transportation, and I'm going to go LLP version 2. All right, and then that rate was $12.75, right? You guys remember that rate? It was at $12.75, and so this is how you set up an invoice. It's net 30. We're going to begin with invoice date February 1. That's going to be important later. And we're going to put a description, but again, normally your sales is going to be, truck income 1, truck income 2, depending on if your client has multiple trucks or not. And that's something we need to get into. We need to talk about that, but we'll talk about that later. Anywho, for this, because we're trying to keep on track of what we're doing. We're learning how to record in factoring invoices. All right. So, factor invoices. I don't know how you say that. Is it factoring or factored? I don't know. Are y'all drinking your glass of wine? I want you to drink your glass of wine. I'm telling you, don't even start this thing until you drink your glass of wine. And so we have text. Let's delete this. That's not what we want in our lives. I don't know what this is. Get that out of here. Add new. Come on. Okay, this is not what you would normally see in your oh, here it is. We have to unclick this little text thing. Get that out of here. Okay, but that's not what you would normally see, especially dealing with truckers, because you're not going to have text like that. So don't even worry about it. For the sake of this this presentation, make sure this is unchecked. This column right here is unchecked, and so your 1275 should be 1275. Go ahead, save that, and it did save. I'm not even messing with QuickBooks right now because I'm not dealing with QuickBooks right now. Okay, let's go back to the dashboard. All right. So here, actually, your invoice that we just created should be here. So let's go back and do that again, because maybe I should have saved it and I didn't. But let's do it. Yeah, this would be a good time to take a break. Even if you want to, what just happened? If you want to right now, like, you want to go grab a great confirm and if you want to follow along and walk through it with me, I would be happy if you did that, whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay, so we have to do this thing again. Let's do flash transportation. LP, and we're gonna say 3. Save. And again, it's net 30 days, right? Because those are the people who are actually going to pay for the services rendered, not the factoring company. The factoring company isn't really paying you. That's not the term. That's not what's going on. Right? That's not what's going on. So LP3, and then that rate again is going to be $12.75. All right. And so here, make sure this is, unchecked, because that kind of screwed us over. Click save. It says you must select the company president of the typing da da da. Okay. And I thought we did all of that. I'm working again in a sample version. I'm working in a sample version of QuickBooks, the sample company. And it's hating on me right now. I don't know why it wants to hate on me. It just hates for no reason, just hating on me. Let's see, what if I do 4 then? Just hate just because, Okay, so in a normal, I'm gonna say normal world, this would save, right? If I was in my QuickBooks, this will save, and then you will save and close it, and then you will actually have an invoice, and there will be no errors. There will be none of this at all. Okay, so let's get out of here. And you want to leave what I was saying? I actually don't. Yes. There is. It's all good, because we're going to have 3 weeks of this anyway. But anywho, whenever you create that invoice will show up right here. Okay, and again, as you create invoices, what you're doing is you're increasing your receivable because you're saying that this is what's going to come. And when you increase your receivable, increasing your receivable shows that it's proof that you've created an invoice. And you go in there because there's two relationships. You've done the first relationship. And the first relationship is to actually book the invoice, the invoice that's coming from the customer, that's coming from the broker right here. That's what you've done. The second thing you're going to do, after you created the invoice, you're going to actually receive. And guess what you're going to receive on? Not the invoice, right? That's not what you're going to receive on. You're going to receive on the deposit that that is proof that your factoring company has funded your services rendered, right? They fund it. So you've submitted your invoices to factor and they fund it. And so you're going to record, what you're recording is the actual deposit. And I'll show you that here. Okay, so here you're going to go into new. And so typically if you're, okay, let's back up real quick. Typically if you're invoicing anyone, you're going to receive on the payment, right? When that payment comes in. But guess what? Think about it. When you get the funded from the factoring company, is that payment? It's not payment. That's not payment. That's actually going to be a bank deposit that you record. That's where that goes. And actually, we're going to stop right there because I want this to soak in, and I want this to soak in hard. And then I want you to be so excited about how it sinks in. And then I want you to go tackle your books and get this thing recorded, get your books cleaned up, get it right, and get your guys and gals prepared for tax season, every year. Keep them straight. So it's not, you won't receive on payment because the factoring amount that's collected isn't a payment, right? Remember I told you there's two affairs going on. So the second affair is actually a bank deposit. And I'm just going to click on there because I just want you to see what it looks like. I just want you to just look at it. Here. All of the action is going to come right here. Receive from account. This is going to change the game for you because you're going to record this the right way. And we're going to go step by step on how it should be recorded the right way. So let me bring up Excel real quick. So when you receive the bank deposit, that's what it is. The bank, when you receive those funds, when you're funded from the factoring company, you're going to book a bank deposit, and that bank deposit is essentially a loan because you've sold your receivables to the factoring company, and so you're in debt to them. So because you're in debt, you have a loan, right? You're in debt until that factoring company is settled, until everything is settled, until you receive the settlement. And then, so because that loan is from the factoring company, then we're going to talk about the reserve account on row 11. And see, let me tell you, we got so much stuff. Look at this reserved account. We're going to talk about reserved account. We're going to talk about, we're going to talk about non-recourse. We're going to talk about recourse. We're going to talk about a lot of things because it's like, man, oh, we're going to go into how this is going to save on taxes. I mean, when we get done with how to factor how to record the factoring invoices, part 1, and then when we get to part 2, and then when we finalize it in that part 3, you're going to leave here just with extreme confidence that you can do this thing and you can do it the right way. And then we're going to tackle the tax part, the tax savings, and all of this. We're going to talk heavily into recourse and non-recourse. And you're going to be able to give at least a certain level of advice on what is the best option for non-recourse and recourse. Which one is the best option for you? We're going to talk about this tax savings on all of it. So, but for right now, just to recap real quick, we're going to start from the bottom. Now we're here. We're going to start from the very bottom. And the very bottom starts with the first step, and that's the load actually being booked. You receive a rate confirmation, better known as rate confirms. The driver picks up the load, he drops off the load, right? And so that, and he did it for whatever that rate confirm said. And then when he dropped it off, he, of course, he signed the BOL. He got signatures from the person there, no, witnessing him drop off that load. And so then we developed a because he didn't just do just that one thing, but for the sake of the presentation, we're just going to go line upon line, precept upon precept. And so this is a situation here. We're just going to look at that 1275. We're going to walk that 1275 all the way until it hit the books, all the way until it hits the books. And so here's an example of the rate confirm again. It's going to be the company name. You're going to load confirmation number. That's going to be your identifier, kind of acts as an invoice number. And you're just going to target on 1275. Once you submit all that information, including the BOL, the rate confirmation, and the invoice, and may be applicable, may not be applicable, depending on the factoring company you use. Once you submit that to the factoring company, right? Your next job as the bookkeeper, the accounting side of things, is to establish those relationships in number form, translate these relationships in the accounting way, interpret these affairs, because this is just one big affair. There's one character with two relationships going on, and we have to express those two separate relationships in the books, okay? And once we express that in the books of one relationship we're expressing or we booking is the actual creation of the invoice. This is all just the background. We're looking at QuickBooks when we create the invoice, okay? But this is just what happens, what's happening in the background. You book your receivable, you credit your sales, and when the cash does come in, and I do mean when the cash comes in, you're depositing your undeposited funds and you're crediting your sales. But we're not even going there. This is just what happens in the background. Don't even look at that. Don't look. See, you can't see anymore. Don't even look at it. And then we're going to go to receive deposit because there's two relationships. This is second relationship. Second relationship has to be expressed, and you express that in your bookkeeping by receiving a deposit, and we'll go through that in the next series. I hope you guys are going to be there to join me next Friday. We're going to book this next Friday. We're going to see how this looks next Friday. We're going to take our time, and if you show up without your glass of wine, I don't know what time it is. You better show up with your glass of wine, and I want you to just relax, and we're gonna go on this journey together. Accounting is already dry. Are you kidding me? There's nothing. Show me one person who thinks this is just. It is kind of fun when you get into it. It is kind of fun. It's kind of fun, but it's dry too. It's not all that great, and so we're just gonna make it exciting. And we're going to make it fun, and we're going to make sure everybody understands at the end of the day, at the end of these series, the third series, you should be able to know without a shadow of a doubt how to book a factoring invoice into your accounting system. I don't know what you use. We use QuickBooks. Whatever your accounts, you can use your spreadsheet. You can use this. Look, go old school. Get your 10 key out and record this thing and record it through your, I don't know what your system is, but if you are in an accounting system and you want to make sure that you're booking these factoring invoices correctly, this is the way to do it. And we're gonna walk you through the proper way to record these things. Tune in next Friday, wine time next Friday. And I want you guys to come out and get your glass of wine. We're going to walk through this thing together with understanding. That's the community that we are building. Thank you guys for listening, and we hope to see you on next Friday. Wine time. Bring it. Bring your wine. Let's go through this together. Thank you.